DayZ is a multiplayer modification for the Arma 2 combat simulator released 11 years ago. It has already become a real phenomenon and has pushed the sales of the original on Steam up by 500%. At the first glance, it's not so easy to understand what exactly the players found in it. The living dead are, frankly, not new to video games. They were utilized by everyone, from the creators of Resident Evil, The Last of Us, and Left 4 Dead, to the authors of Plants vs. Zombies. What's so special about DayZ? The majority of players apparently are so used to corridor shooters and scripted roleplay that DayZ became a real revelation to them. The huge space of Chernarus, complete freedom of action, and most importantly, history are the major pros. Most of the YouTube videos about DayZ are devoted to players' experiences that remain in the form of memories and stories. All these collective photos by the fire, tales of those who have become accustomed to the role of doctor saviors, unexpected meetings and their outcomes, all that stuff is not forced by the scriptwriters and designers in any way. As already mentioned, players can survive both solo and in cooperation with other survivors. But at any time such an alliance can turn into a shootout, on a condition that you play with random people. Do not forget about the zombies that will rapidly chase careless and noisy players. You can find canned food in houses and shops, and in lakes and ponds, refill a flask with fresh water. Weapons and ammunition are sometimes found in rural barns, and medicines and blood supplies for transfusions are sometimes found in city hospitals. It's even possible to repair a vehicle, a pickup, a truck, or even a bus. But in order to fix a car stranded on the sidewalk, you'll have to spend a ton of time looking for parts, wheels, scrap metal, and gasoline. It's very difficult to cope with that on your own, so people tend to restore cars in teams. Now DayZ has been out for a while, and Bohemia just released their first DLC map, Livonia. Based on the Arma 3 Contact expansion map, Livonia is set 5 years after the outbreak that merely destroyed Chernarus. It is decked out with large green areas, heavily forested zones, with lakes and rivers. Apparently, this is the best place to build a base, scavenge for food, and scout for wanted presences. The most notorious of them all being the nasty bears. Livonia's topography doesn't seem extremely different from the base game's map, but it does offer a different layout for those who may have grown tired of Chernarus. Besides that, there do seem to be more vehicles that spawn in, and they're relatively easier to fix up. The weather conditions have also been updated, with the addition of a dynamic weather change with spectacular flashes of lightning. As for the gameplay itself, the differences are minimal, but it's still better than running across the same map for 5 years straight. Unfortunately, DayZ Livonia does not give you a map to see what you have explored, or a compass to inform you of the direction you are facing or heading in. Many times I saw myself turn around and visiting places I have already seen in Livonia's Sea of Green. One Livonia's addition that deserves certain praise is the sense of atmosphere. When you enter the map's dilapidated towns, you'll frequently hear the creepy moans of zombies, if you don't see them first. Just as in the base game, there is a full day-night cycle at play, and the nights are pitch black. DayZ, and especially its Livonia DLC, is a new Wild West where romantic adventurers, conquerors of nature, and snarling zombies are rushed, along with bandits and notorious thugs. There are no rules here, but those who manage to find true friends end up victorious. Hope is that the game will exist in its present shape for as long as possible.
It's time for players to once again get lost in the post-apocalyptic world of DayZ. Welcome to a country reclaimed by nature. Welcome to Livonia. This landlocked state, or more precisely, the southern rural Topolin Nadbur region, comprises lush green landscapes, dense forests, overgrown fields, winding rivers, serene lakes, dilapidated structures, and various remnants of an abandoned society. and at 163 square kilometers, players should stumble upon each other more frequently than in the past. But this new topography won't be the only change of pace for players. The temperate late summer climate of Livonia brings frequent rainfall and severe thunderstorms. Keep a lookout for protective gear and shelter to shield you from this relentless weather. Although idyllic, Livonia's terrain is sparse and convenient sources of food are hard to come by. Survivors will have to learn to forage, hunt, and fish in this desolate Baltic wilderness to keep their hunger at bay. Of course, with this new wilderness comes new wildlife, and you won't be the only threat stalking this perfect hunting ground. Meet the Eurasian brown bear. This formidable foe can seriously injure and kill with ease. Watch out. We welcome you to try your hand at survival in this post-apocalyptic terrain. So stop by, take in the views, find your bearings, live off the land, and try your best not to die. See you in Livonia, survivor.